Hey guys, before we get into the video, I'd just like to ask you to please subscribe and help me get to that goal of 1,000 subscribers. We're really close. Make sure you also press the notification bell to know when new videos pop up, and I will be forever grateful. But anyways, let's get back to the video. So as I'm sure you all have seen, Driftor and Exclusive Ace joined forces to gather data on skill-based matchmaking to better understand it. And they came up with one major conclusion that is undeniable. Your overall KD does not affect your matchmaking. It is how you play in the moment, more specifically, the past 5 matches or so. That determines your matchmaking, which coincides with what we've all been experiencing. You never had to play bad enough long enough to change your overall KD before you could reverse boost. You only had to play bad enough for a few matches before reverse boosting kicked in. So it all makes sense. They played on 3 different accounts, one with a low KD, a medium KD, and a high KD. Now in the beginning, when they first started playing on those accounts, they felt the difference right away. The low KD account had easy lobbies at first, the 4 KD account had really sweaty lobbies in the beginning, and then as time went on, things simmered down to what they were used to. Because their playstyles didn't change from how they normally play, the matchmaking ended up being what it would be on their own accounts, based on how they normally play, because that's how they were playing in the moment. And because of that, though, all of the other data they got seemed pretty consistent across the board as well. And I feel the final word may have been a little misleading. They showed how they had no major difference in the ranks, the ping, or the time to matchmake, regardless of the overall KD of the account they were on. And that's all true, but I wish they would have gathered data based on playing different, as well as being on accounts with different overall KDs. And then seeing what the data is provided as far as time to matchmake, ranks of players in the lobbies, and ping. And I know they did try playing really sweaty at one point, but from what it sounds like, it was only for a little bit of the time through the course of the entire experiment. Now, they did look at the lobbies that felt more sweaty, and noticed the average KD of players in those lobbies were really no different than the average KD of players in easy lobbies, but they could feel the difference, and visually documented the difference, which kind of confused Driftor, and he went into a little bit, but I'm about to explain it the easiest, most comprehensible way I can think of. It's because skill-based matchmaking suppresses your ability to improve your in-game stats by raising the difficulty of your lobbies whenever you begin to show signs of improvement, keeping your KD and score per minute around the same it was, suppressing the ability of your stats to reflect when you are actually improving. This is frustrating because it makes players feel they are not improving when they are, or that they are stuck in some way. This is also the cause of average stats being the same across all skill level match pools. I spent the night boosting just to gather some data for myself, and it's nowhere near as extensive as what they did, but this is what I came up with by consistently playing differently instead of playing on a different account. First, this was the average lobby I was experiencing playing at my normal skill level. There were many 100 plus ranks in my lobby. As I began to reverse boost, I noticed that players' ranks on average were becoming very low, and soon I was always the highest rank in the lobby, and the rank second to me would be in the 50s, if even that, which already kind of differs from the data they obtained, but that's because they base it on playing at their own skill level on an account with a different overall KD, versus me just consistently playing at a different KD level and seeing the effect skill-based matchmaking has on that instead. But rank wasn't the only thing that changed. Sure enough, I was in lobbies with straight up potatoes. I started noticing the kill cams of people I let kill me and their inability to snap onto me with their aim. Their aim was more slow or clunky. Then I was in lobbies where I could just run around people, and I would see how long I could run around before actually getting killed. And then there were people who had zero situational awareness or audible awareness. And I noticed my ping changed, but only by like 15, which is nothing. But it was consistent enough that I noticed. I know people who claim that when they play really well, their ping can shoot well upwards of 100. Now I did experience that myself several times in the first couple of weeks of playing this game, for sure. But it wasn't that dramatic this night. If you are still experiencing 100 plus ping specifically when you play well, please comment below. Also, the time to find a match was anywhere between 7 to 10 seconds faster on average when boosting, which again isn't a huge improvement, but was still consistent enough to be noticeable. And again, I've seen posts on Twitter and YouTube and otherwise of matches taking several minutes for people to load when they are trying their hardest to play well. That was not the case for me recently. If that is still happening to you, please comment down below. Now, if these negative effects overall have been toned down, fingers crossed, knock on wood, I hope that's a good sign. Keep in mind there are many variables involved, including anything from wired to Wi-Fi connection and your provider and location. I have a pretty good internet connection. I do use Ethernet. I do have high speed, so that may explain my situation if it drastically differs from yours. But even though these differences were very small, they were consistent enough to be noticeable, which again differs just a little bit from the findings in Driftor and Ace's video. Because again, that was based on playing the same, just on a different account, where I am playing on my account, but playing very differently consistently. Then I started to play at my normal skill level, and started just destroying people. I didn't even get sweaty, I just was playing more or less casually and coming up with a 4.0 KD or a 3.3 KD average. I think next time I'll probably go really sweaty and see what kind of damage I can do. But something really interesting happened. I noticed the ranks of my lobby started increasing again before the difficulty or skill level of the players started increasing. I started seeing much higher ranks in my lobbies again before I started feeling the sweat or the challenge from any of the lobbies. So take that for what it is. I don't know necessarily what that means, I just found it interesting and want to talk about it. But anyways, if you haven't already seen Driftor and Ace's video, please go check those out. The link will be in the description. They put a lot of hard work into it, and it deserves to be appreciated and recognized. And before you hear something you don't like and you claim that Driftor is bought by somebody or being paid by Activision or whatever your theory is, keep in mind he had an assumption that turned out to be wrong, and he very quickly admitted that assumption was wrong in his video, because he's not pushing some secret agenda. He's really just looking through the data and trying to figure out the best way to test what he's looking for. This is a very complex and obscure, mysterious thing to try to reverse engineer from the standpoint of the everyday consumer. So yes, at times he will have misconceptions, the data will correct, but from what I've seen, he is more than willing to admit that, which is the best way to go about it. Have ideas on what may be going on, but be open-minded to the data. So please, look at things from their perspective. If Ace or Driftor is watching this video, believe me, I wish I could have done more. I wish I had more time to do so. But if there's any way I can help in further research or future videos on skill-based matchmaking, please let me know. I would love to keep digging on this topic, but if you hated my video, then to each his own. Wish you both the best. Keep digging without me, obviously. And I will catch the rest of you next time.